All right, we're now joined by basketball great, Hall of Famer, Tracy McGrady. Tracy, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, when we talk about NBA, we're contractually obligated to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. Didn't make the playoffs this year. What do they have to do? I think what do the Lakers have to do to become factors again? Do you trade LeBron James? There's things out there that are crazy right now.
No, you don't trade LeBron James. Absolutely not. I think AD is healthy. LeBron is healthy. Westbrook. See, I made a statement that in order for it to work, Westbrook needs to be their sixth man and come off the bench. Mm-hmm. It's not because he had such a bad season last year. I care less about that.
Right.
I just don't think LeBron and Westbrook in a lineup together really it meshes, right? Because of Kyrie fits more with LeBron because of his ball handling, his shot making ability, him being able to put the pressure on defense from a three-point line. Russ really doesn't have that. Mm-hmm. Russ is an attacker. He needs the ball in his hands. Kyrie can play without the ball. So if Russ needs the ball, Bron needs the ball. I think you take both of those guys and you got to figure it out. Okay, how can I get the best out of both of you and utilize your skill set? Russ comes off the bench and play against that second unit. He would destroy anybody in that second unit. And he can be who he always been. Is a guy that just plays downhill and play with, great energy. And I think that's how it worked.
Speaking of winning bid, the Golden State Warriors won the NBA title fourth time with Steph Curry. Where does he stand now, do you think, in GOAT talk? I mean, what he did in this playoffs, put this team on his back after the 2 years that were just bad. Like, where do you put him now in the GOAT talk? Is he there?
He's the greatest shooter of all time. He's he's in a lane of his own. No one is in that conversation with him. Although I would say Klay Thompson, people dismiss how great of a shooter Klay Thompson is. I know Steph is on another level, but that's because Steph's ability to shoot off the dribble. Klay Thompson catch and shoot is gotta be it. Oh my God, it's got to be right there with Steph, right? In terms of shooting ability, catch and shoot. But yeah, when you talk about a GOAT, Steph is a GOAT because he's the greatest shooter that I think we've all seen.
Yeah, and to do what he did after those 2 years where, they were bad and they were building back up, to see him, performances he had, especially in Boston, the NBA Finals,
You knew Golden State was going to – I knew Golden State was going to come back and be a problem to the league if Klay was going to come back healthy. Draymond came back healthy. Wiggins is in a role where – the pressure is not on him. He could just relax and play basketball and flourish in this role, which he did at a high level. I have a lot of respect for him on that. But you saw it, right?
Yep.
What Steph was doing back then, leading the team to the play-in game. They lost. But just bringing those guys back, you kind of felt that Golden State was going to be right back in the mix.
Yeah. And finally, speaking of Golden State, Draymond Green, you're an analyst now. You're on TV. You do this stuff. There's like all these battles going on right now between players and former players who are now analysts. Like Draymond and Perk have been going back and forth. What do you think of this whole world now? Players and analysts like just going off on each other on Twitter like that. When you were a player, were you tuning out analysts? It seems like now, like because just this day and age of Twitter and everything, everyone can hear what everyone's saying.
Yeah. There was a couple of times that some current former players said some things that kind of didn't sit well with me, and I addressed that, but I addressed that in person though.
Right.
And nowadays is social media. Everybody's going back and forth. They got these Twitter fingers, and guys have their own podcast channels, and I have no problem with it. It's great entertainment, but I'm not a part of that world.
Yeah, all it takes now is a quick quote tweet, and you can just, your opinion goes out to the world. All of a sudden, all the fire starts back up again.
Yeah. I think one of the hardest things for former players is there's a fine line on how you critique the current players, and I think that's what the problem is. There's a fine line that you got to walk because I know how hard this game is, and I think you can go overboard with some of the things that you say, and it rubs some of these guys the wrong way.
Yeah, especially now because everyone's on TV now 24 hours a day. So Perk's on TV, you know, for 4 hours in the morning. He has to say something. And
yeah, well, I think for the players, you know, he has the cachet to talk about it. He's won a championship. I mean, he played 10 plus years. I mean, I more so would get mad at the guys that didn't play,
right,
to sit here and talking, you know, recklessly about, you know, the players.
Does LeBron, like Skip, does LeBron have the clutch gene? It's like, of course he's got the clutch gene. Come on.
That's absurd. He's like one of the most clutch guys in NBA history.
You know, you're a legend in the game, and now you're a boss of a league. Tell me about this new one-on-one league that you have going on.
This league is fun, very entertaining, competitive, and it's opportunity. You know, when I look at the landscape of basketball, and there's a pool, or should I say, an ocean of talent, untapped talent out there that deserve to have this type of platform, so the world can see their skill set.
Right.
And you know, 5-on-5 setting isn't for everyone. One-on-one basketball really unveils a person's real skill set, and you know, we have some of the highest skilled guys that you possibly can see that you never heard of, and they're making a name for themselves.
Yeah, and for me as a basketball guy growing up, I mean, this goes to the roots of basketball, right? When you were a kid, the first thing you did was, hey, let's play a one-on-one. You want to go one-on-one? Let's play. That's how you kind of like, you know, solidified your stance in the neighborhood.
Listen, one-on-one is the pure essence of basketball. You know, we all started at a young age, and even, you know, for me, it was like watching one-on-one basketball now just brings back those childhood memories where nothing really mattered of how much money I had, you know, what type of house I lived in, the car that, like, none of that really mattered. It just mattered that I was out competing, getting better, and talking a lot of smack is what I'm seeing right now. So that it brings you back to those memories.
Can we have a fun game here and talk about some classic one-on-one matchups that, if they happen in their prime, who you think would win?
Yeah, sure.
So this is them in their prime. Obviously not right now. Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson.
I go with Larry Bird.
Why?
Yeah. I go with Larry Bird because of his shooting ability. When you can shoot the ball as well as Larry Bird, you're going to have a great chance of beating anyone, right? And Larry was 6'10" at doing that, so, and he can handle the ball as well.
Let's go big guys. Shaquille O'Neal in his prime versus Hakeem Olajuwon in his prime.
I think Shaq would have a better chance at getting a few stops on Hakeem. I just don't know if Hakeem can stop Shaq. He's just too big and strong. So I'll go with Shaq in that. All
right, I got another fun one here for you. Let's go to the shorter guys here. Allen Iverson, legend, versus Steph Curry, legend.
Oh, my goodness, bro. Again, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter I've ever seen, man. I will go with Steph Curry.
Even with the Iverson, you know, crossover.
Yes.
He did the Jordan.
Steph doesn't have to get hot. He's already hot.
Right.
Right. AI has to get hot. Steph is already hot.
Yeah, you check that ball into Steph, he takes a step back and boom.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go now with a good one here. Tracy McGrady, who you know pretty well, and the late, great, and your good friend, Kobe Bryant. Two very similar scorers.
See, I actually thought she was going to go Kobe and MJ. You tricked me on that. I think if we played 10 games, 5-5, maybe 6-4.
6-4 for who?
It could go either way.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
You guys are just great scorers.
Yeah, it could go either way. I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I dominate Kobe.
Right.
I'm a realist. It could go either way.
And finally, the one matchup that everyone always talks about, Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
I go with MJ. Yeah, I go with MJ. I think LeBron now is a better shooter than he was in his prime. Mm-hmm. But then he's still playing like he's in his prime. So, I go with MJ on that.
And let's go one bonus. This is the last one. LeBron versus Steph Curry. Two totally different players, different builds.
Yeah, that's Bron or overpower. I'll go Bron on that. He's too big, too strong. Here, overpower Steph. Kyrie and Steph.
Ooh,
that's very, very intriguing.
Who would you like there?
Kyrie. Man, bro. Again, that's like a Kobe and T-Mac. It's a toss-up. I slightly will give the edge to Kyrie. Slightly, but again, it could go either way.
Kyrie's handle is just...
It's nasty.
He can get to the basket, no problem.
Yeah.
Hey sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.